Hello, welcome to Flora Friday. I'm Jenny Martin, ethnobotanist, and today we're going to look at this plant. So this some people would consider a common weed. You see it in a woodland or you see it typically by a hedge. So guess what, one of its common names is Jack by the hedge. Why called Jack? So Jack is a common word that you might use in old literature referring to the devil. Maybe because if you crush up the leaves, they smell of garlic. So with bushcraft folk and wild food enthusiasts, this is a really nice wild food. Not to eat the flower so much because it has quite a pungent smell that attracts flies for pollinating, but actually the leaves. So if you take one of the leaves off, when you're wild fooding, always use the SSC code: sustainability, safety and certainty. So as long as you've done all that, you know that it's a common plant, you know that there are no pollutants, so you know that there's nothing in the environment that has caused this plant to be toxic, and you're certain you've identified it, then you're probably in safe territory and you've done your research and you know there's no reason why you shouldn't eat it. Checking many references and you know it's safe, you can eat it. So yeah, it's kind of quite a nice wild edible. So as in with all wild food, pick the nicest looking leaf, the nicest looking plant, and enjoy. Quite a mature plant, so the garlic is not as pungent as if you pick smaller plants that are less mature. But anyway, there's a wonderful ethnobotanist called Frank Cook, who said that you should eat something wild every day, and I like that idea. Just as a good reminder that all our cultivars, all our wonderful broccolis and cauliflowers have all stemmed from a wild plant. So anyway, have a look at it. So interesting plant. It's actually a biennial. What does that mean? That means that in the first year it sends out actually little shoots with leaves on the end. So the little shoots are called petioles, and the scientific name for this is Alliaria petiolata, which petiolata is probably referring to the petioles. So as this plant's got older, you don't see very long petioles, but if you look here, I don't know if you can see that, maybe here, this here is a petiole. It's the bit that joins the stem to the leaf, and in the first year's growth the petiole is really long and the leaves grow up in a rosette. As the plant gets much bigger, the leaves become alternate as they're going up the stem. If you can see here on the bigger leaves, and especially the first year, the leaves in their first year of growth, this leaf structure here, or this margin of the leaf, is what is called crenate. So crenate means it's kind of like bumpy, if you like. It's not really sharply toothed, it's just more bumpy. Whereas if we look at the leaf here, further up the stem, we're starting to see a leaf, if you can see here, which is dentate. Okay, so that's dentate. Equally, if you're looking at the base of the leaf, so here's the base of the leaf, the larger leaves, this is called caudate. So caudate is where you have kind of like a heart-shaped structure, but at the bottom you have two lobes that stick out, so that is caudate. And then up above, the leaves are no longer really caudate, they are more kind of heart-shaped, you see here, or more triangular, and that's more an ovate leaf. So this is a brassica. A brassica is a whole group of plants, many that we eat, so broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, radishes, they're all brassicas, and the whole family group has got lots and lots of good edibles in it. So the key identification feature of the brassicas is the leaves are alternate as they go up the stem, and also if you look at the flower has its petals in groups of 4. And if you look underneath the petals, the sepals are also 4 pencil cross crucifer, but now it's called Brassica, this family. If you also look inside, a key ID feature is the stamen. They're in 4s or 6, usually 6, and you have to look closely to see that there are usually another 2 hidden around. So if you're only seeing 4, give another kind of grapple around inside the flower head and you should find another 2. So there should be 6 stamen. It's a superior ovary, which basically means that the sepals and the petals sit underneath the ovary and the ovary sits on top of them. So that's why it's superior. The other thing that you can see, which is really nice on this plant, which is coming up actually here on this flower head, we've got some flowers that have already been pollinated, whether they're self-pollinated or been pollinated by insects. So you can actually see some of the seed capsules that are starting to develop. So that's really nice. And in there you'll have some of your garlic mustard seed, which is apparently really popular with the French in their cooking. And I actually tasted some myself, and it's nice if you like that kind of brassica, mustardy, kind of bitter, that's it, a kind of bitter taste. Another interesting fact about this plant is in Europe it's just known as a wild edible. There's about 64 insect herbivores that live on it, off it. There's 6 fungi that are associated with it with a symbiotic relationship. But in the States, if you're American, this is a really invasive weed. It's considered a really invasive weed. So quite interesting, and also a good thing to note about moving plants around, how to be cautious about when you're introducing plants into a new environment. Will it be invasive? So Alliaria petiolata, Jack by the hedge, garlic mustard, nice edible, follow the SOC code, and enjoy.